You know him from numerous blogs and podcasts around the internet, including theathletic.com. He is Useful Human, Arif Hassan. Arif, how you doing on this lovely, drizzly, just gray as possible Minnesota, North Dakota day? Silence. Nothing.
Can you hear me?
Now I can, yes.
Okay, that's weird.
Where you keep disappearing. I don't. Do you not want to record? Is that what's going on?
This is how I solve.
I'm starting to think that this is
James. I don't think you appreciate me, but I'm not going to tell you that. I'm just going to not talk.
There's a difference between like. God, it's like there's a difference between ghosting like over the phone and ghosting while you're literally doing a damn podcast.
It's a power move, right? It's like Vontae Davis.
No, this is a Vontae Davis situation. You're literally just retiring during the show. Okay, I have to work that in. All right, I'll redo the opening here in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Norse Code, the #1 podcast for your Minnesota Vikings, and welcome to the year-end clip show, the year in review as it is. We have lots and lots of clips for you. These are clips that you would find before the show when we're taping, during the show, like mailbag stuff, and at the very end of shows when we're just kind of wrapping stuff up. So we have all variety of things here, including the uncut Dusty appearance. Everything that was said before, during, and after, including a funny story involving, well, Dusty and friends. So we have plenty of stuff here, but as is the warning every year, this is an uncensored show. So if you are coming here expecting to have somewhat clean language like we tend to have on the show, you will be sorely disappointed. This is not one for the kids, as is the warning every year. So please just remember that this is not something for kids. There is a lot of swearing in here. I am guilty of this in particular, like right away. So just a brief warning on that. Otherwise, we want to thank you guys so much for everything over the year. We have had one hell of a year and just want to thank you guys so much for all of your support. And now let's get started. Welcome to Norse Code, the #1 podcast for your Minnesota Vikings. I am your host and producer. My name is James Pagashnik. Thank you so much for listening. And on the other end of the tin can and string, we have our analyst and co-host. You know him from numerous blogs and podcasts around the internet, including blah, 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 blah. It's Sunday! Yes! So before we start, the hotel front desk guy. So he saw my name and just went, Pagashnik? Like, okay.
There can't be too many of those.
No. Like, either you know somebody, you're married to somebody, or you listen to the show. So he said he'd been listening to the show for years. Like, oh, cool, right on. And talked to her a couple of seconds. And then he said, by the way, have you ever noticed that all of your intros sound exactly the same? Like, what are you talking about? It's like all of the beginning part of the like right before you introduce Arif is the same for every episode. Like the tone and the inflection, everything is the same. Like, huh? It's like for the Christmas show, you should put like all of the ones from this year in there, just stacked on top of each other, and you'll hear what I mean. Like, oh God, that's going to be so much annoying work that I'm going to have to do now. Now I'm curious. And then I'm going to hear it and oh, God damn it. Okay, I need a new intro. Need writers. That's what we need. Need writers. And professional podcast hosts. That way I can go back to the job I signed on for, which is just editing the show.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. That's episode 250. We can lament. The lamentation of James Pagashnik, episode 250. Okay.
It's not a bad title, honestly.
I think. Well, I mean, I was negatively affected by the Will Lutz kick. I didn't lose, but
You didn't lose, which congrats, man.
I got to rise above that shit. Starting off in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Norse Code, the #1 podcast for. God damn it! It really is the same.
No. Get out of my head, Charles.
Get out of my head. Like, I'm gonna do the exact same thing, but like,
this is gonna fuck you up forever.
oh no! This is all going horribly wrong. What have I done with my life?
Amazing.
Oh. All right. Chewbacca sounds aside. It's my water. I hate everything.
Did you get that all out of your system, or?
We'll see. Dan Bailey doesn't sound like a kicker. Dan Bailey sounds like a cartoon character.
I mean, if you think about it from the perspective of the Key and Peele sketch, he definitely sounds like a kicker.
Yes. Ezekius Astronomus. Dan Bailey. Benedict Cumberbatch.
What position does he play? Is he a long snapper, you think? Based on the name?
Based on the name, Benedict Cumberbatch, I'm thinking it's either going to be long snapper or gunner. Just like a really weird gunner. He wants to be a wide receiver so badly, but he's got that British upbringing, so he's not used to using his hands for anything as far as sport goes. So he did just enough with the England Silly Nannies that he got a spot, but that was it. By the way, there's a question in the mailbag, and I sent it to Dusty. The one about now that Dusty's off the show, is he a part of some underground? Scroll down. Underground Public Assistance Gaming League. I sent that to him, and he enjoyed that thoroughly.
That's really good.
Yeah. That's
and like kind of a deep cut. That's a very Don from Ohio question.
Yes,
good job.
That is a very deep cut.
Hold on, I gotta make a Church of Life joke. Is that
I don't hear that often.
What's the internet ministry that you can get?
Universal Life Church.
Okay, that's it. Yeah.
Because I know that immediately off the top of my head, but...
Well, are you a certified minister for the Universal Life Church as well?
I am a deacon, actually.
A deacon?
I believe the name I registered under was Deacon Dr. Pagashnik Sweetness.
So then you can legally marry people in the state of Minnesota or whatever, right?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. I'll keep that in mind.
So I don't like to point out when I'm specifically trying to be clever, but in the episode title there, that is the actual location of Margaritaville inside of Mall of America. It will not... Like, part of me really wants that to be, like, the episode title just because, but that is, like, less than a 1%er. There's no way that anyone's going to look at that and go, oh, yeah, E344. Wait, what if I Google that? Son of a bitch, that's the actual location of Margaritaville in Mall of America. That's
like, okay, so let's say we get 2,000 people to listen to this episode. 20 people Google it? That's a good payoff, I think.
If there's a really good chance it's going to stick around. I'm boy.
How do you know?
I Googled it, yeah, because everybody's out in the food court, for Radio Row. So I Googled the restaurants in Mall of America, and the Mall of America website has this huge list. I'm surprised I didn't get something from the Mall of America Twitter account for Googling this, since apparently they're fucking Johnny on the spot this week.
Yeah, they're name searching like demons.
Yeah, like they have all the interns on this. So I was scrolling through and I saw Margaritaville and I went, "Oh fuck! All right, we're good. This will be worth a chuckle if nothing else." E344. God, it's the only way I can find anything in that fucking place is to actually go by the frickin' numbers.
Right. So this week I've been tweeted at by the Mall of America official Twitter account, the Surly Brewing official Twitter account,
Saw that,
and the Naf Grill official Twitter account.
I'm
surprised I haven't been tweeted at by the Steak and Shake official Twitter account.
Well, they dropped the ball. Their guy called in sick today. Their guy called in unable to find a parking space today.
Yeah, exactly.
Test.
Hey.
Well, good that we can hear each other.
Hooray.
That's a positive. We've got low standards. I'm fully aware of this.
No, that's okay. We've set these low standards for ourselves.
The bar is low for a reason.
I feel like that could be an end of show sign off, but we've already picked one.
And remember, everyone, the bar is low for a reason. See you next week.
That's good for like a failing season, right? Like that would have been a good like 2010 Vikings.
Oh God, yeah.
2013 Vikings, yeah.
Or I think the 2010 one would be just remember it could get worse. Just remember it could get worse. And then when Favre, hits his head on the concrete like ice field of TCF Bank, it just got worse. I guess the next question we have is moving past the game and asking the question, are we preparing for a few games without Nick Easton as we traded for Brett Jones this week?
Pat Elflein.
Oh, Pat Elflein. God damn it.
I was like, yeah, we've prepared for like 16 games without him, man.
God damn it.
The people still love you, James.
That's a fucking lie. I live and die by my accuracy, damn it. I don't have takes, I just have accuracy. I'm like the Sam Bradford of podcast hosts.
That's great.
That turned out far better than I would have expected. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Going into the next year, I was going to pick the Rams. But yeah, I'm an idiot, so whatever. Don't listen to me. Stop listening to this podcast. Don't donate to the Patreon. Please donate to the Patreon. But yeah, the Vikings are probably third.
Yeah. Also, Don just wants to congratulate Arif on his Colgate Raiders making it to the FCS playoff quarterfinal.
Very proud of my Colgate. What is it, Raiders? Yeah, Raiders. Yes. Lifelong fan.
All those long years of rooting this team on has finally paid off. I know they are playing that team who plays their football games in a high school gym, but when Colgate beats NDSU on Saturday, will Arif buy Colgate products only, toothpaste, dental floss, toothbrush, etc., for the rest of his life, and will he send Eric Thompson a Christmas gift basket of said products for years to come?
Don, you know that me being a lifelong fan of Colgate, the Colgate Raiders, and their coach... Dan Hunt. Is that a real name? You know that I've been buying Colgate products my whole life as a means of supporting the team, who are surely affiliated with the dental care company.
Dan Hunt. I'm really looking forward to seeing what wide receiver Owen Rocket and running back James Holland, according to Wikipedia, are going to do on Saturday.
Is this the whitest team in the FC? Hold on, we got to find out about this team. What? Okay. Well, who's the quarterback for my Colgate Raiders?
All I know is is this defensive back coach or defensive back?
One of the
Ben
okay.
Hunt is the defensive.
The Colgate Raiders are in fact the whitest team in the FCS. Oh wow! Did you take a look at the roster, man?
Yeah, I'm looking.
James Holland Jr. Well, that sounds like the former Gophers receiver. It's not, but that's cool.
That's wider than the football team at Valley City when I went there for a year and a half.
But yeah, let's see. Quarterback. So either quarterback Sage Atwood, Grant Brenneman, or Jake Froschauer.
Either. Like you don't know, like you haven't been watching them all year and cheering them on while they play at Andy Kerr Stadium.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's. I just wanted to, because they might mix it up. It's NDSU. All sorts of things could happen.
I'm surprised, Hamilton, New York isn't that far away from New York City. I mean, I'm surprised you didn't try to convince me to rent a car and go out and take a look at this.
I knew it was more a trip for me. Going out to Colgate that time I went. In our trip to New York.
I can appreciate that. That explains where you were for a little while there. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I named those quarterbacks because both of them have taken Grant Brenneman has taken 183 passing attempts, and Sage Atwood has taken 31. So really, anything could happen. Grant Brenneman has also got 122 rushing attempts. I mean, he's clearly the engine of the offense.
Stud.
It's great. It's a big part of the reason they went 10-1 and have scored very many points, I'm sure.
Is that a technical term? Is that one that your copy editor is cool with at the Athletic?
They've scored very, very many points. Points per game, 29.5. Opponents, 7. Wow.
That's a crushing defense. That is a crushing defense. Which we both know because we've been watching Colgate for...
Yeah. And their star defender, TJ Hall, like you've already mentioned.
Exactly. Well, that is going to be it for this episode of Norse Code.
I'm so sorry, guys.
This has been fantastic. Arif, what do you have to plug?
Besides the Colgate Raiders playing on Saturday.
Go Raiders.
Go Raiders.
One of the reasons why people like Norse Code is because of the guests that we get every week when we are doing our preview shows. And let's get into two of our favorite clips of the year. One is about Vontae Davis retiring, and the other is about the Macho Man Randy Savage. Before we start, I have to ask, what would your reaction be if you were a Buffalo fan walking the streets of Buffalo, New York on Sunday, listening to the game on the radio, and then you saw the cornerback just walking down the street like next to you?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that was one of the weirdest things I've ever heard of, to be honest. I'm picturing like him getting picked up in an Uber outside the stadium or something, just heading home. Like I was in the Chargers locker room when like I sort of started to piece it together because like Phillip Rivers was standing there like laughing about it with Keenan Allen and Melvin Gordon. He's like, you guys won't believe this. He just left. And Melvin Gordon's like, he retired? They're like, yeah. And like, they're all laughing. I was like, so then I texted, the guy who works with me. I'm like, you might want to sniff around. Like they're in here like laughing that Vontae Davis retired, like went home at halftime. And, after that, it started to trickle out because McDermott said that, the guy pulled himself out, and then, Lorenzo Alexander kind of popped off on it. So, but it was the weirdest thing because, I mean, this guy showed no signs of it and then just decides to leave.
What was great to me is just hearing that and hearing like Phillip Rivers dying laughing about it. Because yeah. I imagine it's one of those situations where like it's not necessarily on your bucket list as a quarterback, but like if you can make it happen,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That becomes like, I didn't know I needed to see Metallica before I died, but here we are, and okay, I totally get it. Like, I didn't know I needed to make a cornerback who's been in the league for years, retire at halftime.
Yeah, Pro Bowl cornerback. Yeah.
I wish I knew what was going on while I was in there, so I could have asked Keenan Allen, how do you feel that you made this guy quit? And it would have been a little bit more fun, but we didn't really figure it out until after the fact. Once Lorenzo Alexander started talking, it was oh, this guy, he's done, for good, so crazy.
It's like the UFC fighter who got into a fight or got into an argument with her corner. Because she didn't want to come back out, and they're like, "No, you need to come back." It's like, "No, I'm out. I am outclassed here. You have,
you put me in danger.
you need to be investigated for shit because this isn't cool, man."
Right.
Or we didn't even ask you. My Norse code Skype picture is me looking kind of like Macho Man Randy Savage because I'm at the Seahawks game. It's -20 out. So
closer
I got,
to -40, yeah.
Yeah. And so I got, the ski goggles on and stuff like that. You brought up that you worked for the late Macho Man Randy Savage for his subscription website, which I can only assume is called the Macho Athletic. How was that?
It was actually machoman.com. He was trying to get together a pay-per-view type thing for a website, so subscription-based stuff. And
ahead of his time.
Yeah, and we still got a ways to go with time apparently to get to that point. But I want to say 18 or 19 years old. I had dropped out of high school and I had taught myself how to video edit. Man. And I was working on a local independent wrestling company's television show. I was co-producing it, and he was starting that site. So we were a local company. Steve Kern School of Wrestling, which at the time was like a farm school for the WWE, was in that same area. So we came in and we filmed it there at that school, and we did that for about 6 months. And like I told you off the air, so I was like camera guy, and then I would edit stuff. I would put music to stuff, and I would do all that fancy stuff. And it was right around the time, like I was telling you, when he put out his rap album, which was, Be a Man, Hulk, and all that stuff. So I remember Jimmy Del Rey, who was part of the Heavenly Bodies in the WWE. He was like a hangers-on type of guy, and he was up in the office. They had like this little suite upstairs or whatever, and he was like, "Mikey, man, come listen to this." And he put that song on before it had come out. I was like, "What the hell is this? What's going on?"
That's the opposite of somebody going, "Hey, listen to this unreleased Prince track." You're like, "Hey, listen to this unreleased Macho Man rap album."
So the funniest thing that Macho Man said to me, and he was a good guy. He was a really good guy. He kind of has a sad story where he didn't have any real friends at the time and all this stuff. But we were outside and we're out in front, and he says to me, "Mikey, brother, I really don't, when I go out, I really don't want people to know, who I am. So I try to keep it real, incognito. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, dig it right." Well, while he's saying this, this dude with he's unmistakable. Randy Savage is. Yeah. He's saying this as he's standing in front of this black Hummer that has a gigantic Macho Man white spray paint thing along the side of it. I'm like, "Yeah, Randy, you're playing it real cool, brother."
Yeah, the only way that he could be playing it any more cool is if he had the Slim Jim logo just across the back of this stretch Hummer.
It was that obvious. So yeah, he was a good dude, but man, he was a weirdo. But that was a fun 6 months.
He strikes me as a guy that might never break kayfabe. Is that?
He is exactly who he is on television.
Okay, good, excellent.
There was no difference. And then and what was it? The one time he was like, because it was kind of like in a warehouse. They had the big garage door. He's like, "Mike, we ought to close these garage doors one day, and we're gonna fill up these light canisters with weed, brother. Yeah, dig it. Yeah, do it." I'm like, "Oh my god." So all the little ad libs and everything like that, he did that in real life. It was weird, man.
That is phenomenal.
Constantly feeling like you're in a Mean Gene promo. That's awesome.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, crazy experience.
Picked up mic skills by osmosis, man. That's great.
Yeah, you're eating people. We should just do a show where you're eating the entire time. It'll be fantastic. Or, flip side to that, we just record an episode where you're just crinkling a bag of chips, and I'm asking you, like, in-depth questions on, like, the Vikings, and you respond just randomly without listening to just crinkling chips. I like this idea. I think we could go with it.
Sorry, I didn't have my headphones in.
That was the whole point of that, actually.
Cool, excellent.
That worked.
I'm gonna need like 5 more minutes to eat these.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
I was just saying that what we should do is just have the most avant-garde episode of Norse Code ever, where I ask you a bunch of hard-hitting questions about the Vikings, and then start getting into it with you as far as, like, kind of trying to call you out on, like, well, how can you think that? Like, just reacting as if you were saying something, when in fact you were just crinkling a bag of chips.
Oh, that is pretty fantastic, actually.
Yeah. How can you sit and tell me that Mike Hughes is going to be Defensive Player of the Year when you yourself just said that Sheldon... And then just, silence and then crinkling of chips.
Well, that's just uncalled for.
Like, how dare you use that sort of language? You're going to get us kicked off of the iTunes, like, happy sheet. Like, how dare you? Crinkle. My mother is not a whore.
I'm gonna keep eating. I bought a bunch of keto snacks for my girlfriend, and I was like, oh, that would actually be a really good idea right now, because pretty quickly eat it and burn it. And I kept looking for them, and I couldn't find them, and I was like, oh, Cheez-Its. Well, that's not keto, but
no,
I'm not on keto, she is.
Exactly. It's Cheez-Its.
I get, like,
it's Cheez-Its,
right.
not cheese nips, not cheese crackers, Cheez-Its.
Dude, the great thing about this is I can, like, buy a ton of stuff, and now I know she won't eat it.
Or she'll just secretly hate you because you have it in the house. Have you reached that point yet? Because that's where keto leads to.
If you're not both on keto, one of you's upset.
Mm-hmm. And usually it's about around, like, week 3 or 4 of the, like, exhausted, I can't, like, I just want something else. And you and your fucking bread.
Holy shit, Cheez-Its are good, man. Oh my god.
Oh, God, yeah. I sent a package with the kid to school for a snack this morning. It's one of the world's greatest foods.
Yeah, it's healthy. It's got cheese in it.
Yeah. That's what I told myself about the nachos I ordered at the bar the other day with my 3 gigantic big dark beers. Look at all this, Look at all the salad on this thing. This is great.
Yeah, it's bread and cheese, right?
Like corn and cheese, technically, with the corn chips on it. Yeah, but in your
but I
case,
meant with the
bread
beer.
and cheese. Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was doing the math. How much salad would I have to eat to counteract the 3 the 3 Summit oatmeal stouts? Show your work.
Provide specific examples.
Exactly. We did a live taping at Bar None in New York City this last October. It was one of the most fun experiences that Arif and I have ever had on the show. Again, thank you guys so much for helping out and making this a reality. We do have some behind-the-scenes stuff now from the show, including a Jets fan who wouldn't leave us alone and then called me out on editing him out of the show.
The best Jets I should have won 2 Heisman's. 12 years.
Whoa, you don't remember Favre?
Pre-Vikings Favre.
Right, I mean,
when he tore his bicep.
Wait, 2008 Brett Favre was really good until December.
Yeah, he got hurt. Oh, he's Dick Pick Favre?
Yeah, Dick Pick Favre. Yeah.
So, chicks and throwing picks.
So it was meant for someone else, but he got intercepted.
Aww. At the most inopportune time. Most inopportune person.
I got a bucket of beer if we can get a Jets chance. Let's go!
I got one. J-E-T-S, just end the season. I said you can't buy my loyalty.
Fuck that. I can be bought. I got a kid. I'm fine.
I'm good, man. Thanks, though. That's fair.
That's just mean at this point. This is the sort of thing that I've grown to. I've grown accustomed to this on New York now. Thank you, sir. Salute.
I don't go to EasyJet wings.
I got it because I admit I can sell out. Like, there's a fine line.
Sweet at the Jets game, if you're willing to wear a Jets jersey.
I'm wearing green to the game. Does that count? I'll have something on underneath, but like.
It's like a little Asian guy rolling sushi in the suite. You gotta be wearing Jets.
That's a hell of a suite, man.
You know, when you're in New York. Don't crop me out.
That was great. Wow. You got called out.
Wow. Purple?
All the listeners are hearing it.
I guarantee you're making the Christmas show. I 100%
Which is the best show anyway.
guarantee you're making the Christmas show.
It's a Norse code.
Hey, man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
This guy's wearing a Bridgewater jersey.
He was,
Play for the Jets.
he was a
Jets
great
legend, Teddy Bridgewater.
Jets legend, Teddy Bridgewater. This is your cause. This is your white whale. This is your entire show arc. You're gonna get this in like 60 seasons. This is your Szechuan sauce. Darkest season of Norse code ever. With the surprisingly optimistic Arif Hassan. See, and that's when we introduce the avant-garde stuff. That's when we go full, like, crinkly bag of chips. Or in this case, Cheez-Its.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Other than the best question of the show was, 2 hours in. But, whatever.
Right.
I'm sure that doesn't happen on the machine or anything.
Right. The best question of the
You
machine.
could not have looked any less interested in that picture that got sent out, that got tweeted out. Like,
that was actually just a reaction to them like shooting different gang signs. I'm like, I'm not 10. I'm not doing this. It was mostly that.
Yeah, let's just looked at it. You would rather be fucking anywhere else on the planet than with whatever they're doing right now. Like, you'd rather be outside right now. Like, I'd rather be at a Trump rally right now than sitting here while you guys are throwing up gang signs next to the Moose golf thing.
Right. I'm so old now.
You're like the oldest 30. It's crazy.
I just hate children. Can't I just hate children in peace?
Yes. Actually, that is a thing. Yes, you are welcome to. All right. So while I'm doing this, can we play a game? Can we play the James is a middle-aged 34-year-old white guy game? And can I ask you who the fuck Meek Mill is and why does it matter? Like, I know that he was a part of a rap beef with Drake, I want to say, and he lost that. And if you're going to lose a a rap battle or like a beef to Drake, then I don't know why anyone cares about you.
That is embarrassing. Perfect.
Test.
Yep.
Get some light in here. Oh. I need to get all the dreariness of this wonderfully wet fall day.
Oh, is it wet there too?
As wet as possible. For the first time in 30 years, they canceled the fry feed for Potato Bowl weekend.
No.
I know. I was shocked too.
Man, I still have memories of that, actually, which is kind of a weird thing. Oh, I remember that. I hate it.
Well, I mean, I haven't been there in a few years, and the last time I did, it was a 2.5 hour wait for fries, and right when I got up to line, the machines broke. So I got no fries.
All right.
Yeah, I was more than a little disappointed. I've never rage driven around looking for fries, but at that particular moment was it felt like a scene out of the Drew Carey show where I just got into my car, stormed off, pissed off, stopped at like 3 places for fries. I was like, I'm getting a variety of fries tonight, goddammit. I stopped at the Burger King next to... Well, that's what happened. I stopped at the Burger King that was next to the... next to where they're doing the fry feed, and they were closed. So I was like, that's what inspired the like world of fries. I was like, fuck you. So I stopped at the McDonald's, got like a large fry there. I stopped at Wendy's, which is the superior fry of the two, and got fries there. And then I think I stopped at Five Guys because they were just about to close. And I was like, I don't want a burger. I just want a bag of your fries.
I mean, it's Five Guys. That's good.
It was a perfectly reasonable no. I take that back. That there was nothing reasonable about how I went about accomplishing my goal that day. my waist size grew 3 times that day. They say in Whoville.
That's not... Linval Joseph was not a former high school sprinter. That's not what that was. That's a bad headline.
I'm sorry. Something crazy just went in my ear.
So Vikings Update tweeted that Linval Joseph is not slow. He's fast. He was a former high school sprinter, which of course he wasn't. No way, man.
I think to every offensive lineman I knew in high school, and not a fucking chance.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're like Lane Johnson was a former you'd be like, yeah, well, he's the most athletic, like, right tackle in the NFL. Like, okay, Lane Johnson was a high school sprinter, maybe. Yes. But, like, Linval Joseph is like, yeah, he might be the most athletic 330-pound dude on the planet, but, like, that doesn't... Are you fucking kidding me?
There's not weight classes in track, is what we're trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how this got misinterpreted, actually. So, at his high school... they would do the Fat Man relays where the discus and shot put throwers would race each other.
Okay, yeah, Red River did that too.
Right, yeah, and he came in first. Like,
all right.
Okay, that's cool. So when you apply a weight class to it, yeah, he's amazing, right? But you can't call him a high school sprinter, dude.
No. Absolutely not. Anybody who calls Linval Joseph a high school sprinter needs to be examined, like, psychologically, physically, sociologically. They should probably have their Twitter account taken away, too, just for good measure. We should all have our Twitter accounts taken away for good measure, actually. Someone got upset. I got a DM, or I forget if I got a DM or something sent to my... Oh, I got something sent to my Big Mono account when I had said about Baldy. I had said, if you're not following Baldy NFL on Twitter, then what exactly are you using Twitter for? Other than starting fights with people other than starting random fights with people online, looking at you, Arif. Somebody got upset and was defending you for that. Like, really?
In your DMs?
In my DMs. I'll have to find
Noted
that.
Arif hater James Pagashnik got taken to the woodshed today.
It's like, really? Like, is my blind hatred of Arif that obvious? Like, and it's not like he responded to the Norse code account, because that's where it was from. No, he went to my personal account, much like the guy who sent the Brett Favre's dad video today, which, fuck that dude. But, yeah.
That was so funny. He's like, every time I see this, I think of Big Motto. And you're like, hey, what the hell, man?
I don't deserve this sort of shabby treatment. Like, really? This is where we're at? All right. So this episode is either going to be the best thing we've ever done, or our Patreon subscribers are just going to go completely to shit. And I cannot wait to see which one it's going to be. Because we're suckering him in with real news. No one other than Andy is going to have anything to say about the right thing until next week. So this is perfect.
This should be fun.
Oh, God, yeah. No.
Can you hear my cat yelling?
I did just hear your cat.
Ah, Jesus Christ. My girlfriend just left, and so my cat just starts yelling when she thinks there's no one here. I'll fix this.
Don't kill the cat.
I said I'd take care of it.
All right, do what you gotta do.
It sounds like she shut up. I'll take care of it if it comes up.
So I hear like the cocking of a gun.
Sure, well, if they don't produce a pronunciation guide for us, I mean,
well, yeah,
we can't be held liable for what we do to the name.
No, I pronounced Slaby's name for years incorrectly. It's not even anywhere like close to. Well, I was pronouncing it Slobby because I didn't listen to the Dusty episodes. Not a lot of it, anyway. There were some I did. I just didn't listen to all of it. We produce a lot of content. It'd be hard. It would be a lot to ask of the producer to listen to every show.
That's true. I mean, really, you were mostly here so that we together could win the Norse Code Fantasy League.
Exactly. I was here to make sure that all three of us, in equal part, were able to accomplish that. I'm going to try to convince him to play this year. He's not going to be on the show. But if you think you're going to be able to give up your spot on the Norse Code League, you got another thing coming. We have to defend this. And now time for my favorite idea that we've ever put forth on the show. The Hater 100.
Yeah, they're always going to put a quarterback at number one. Yeah, fine. Get quarterback sell. Like, they're going to overrepresent quarterbacks. Dang. Like, as an NFL Network executive, I'd be like, can we do it even more? Can we get more quarterbacks?
Where can we put Blake Bortles on this list? We have all these facts.
Right? It'd be like, who voted for Donald Penn? Who cares? Let's get him out of here. Like,
Christian Hackenberg is topical again. Can we sneak him in somewhere?
Right. And you get interviews with players, and the players always have to compliment whoever they're talking about at the moment, which, like, that's the only downside. If I'm an NFL Network executive, I would absolutely encourage trash talk is the one thing. Like, where did you rank him? Dog, he shouldn't even be on the list. Like, that would be great. That's the only way I would improve it, is if in the player interviews you had the players just absolutely dog someone for being on the list at all or being voted too high or whatever. That would be, I guess, my only improvement if I were an NFL Network executive. But I'm not. I'm a podcaster and a blogger. And so from that perspective, this list is all bullshit. It shouldn't exist.
You'd think that having like the contrarian view on that and not have it be a celebration. At the moment, it's more of like a celebration of like their accomplishment for the year. BS. Next year, let's just make it all about what? Diggs? Don't you see how he pushes off on every play and just like have like Antonio Brown sit there and go, he couldn't tie my shoes.
Yeah, right, exactly. No, it'd be perfect. Or like, cornerbacks or whatever, right?
Cornerbacks would be great.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Cornerbacks and wide receivers just dogging on each other for the entire 2 hours.
Like, can you imagine like Odell Beckham and Richard Sherman just going at like whoever's ranked where?
What? Refresh my memory. Who's got the chain? Crabtree.
Yeah, Michael Crabtree at Keep Talib.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we need that.
That is what
Better
this
top
league
100.
needs.
we should just call it the Haters 100.
Yes. Hey, and if you want to have like the regular 100, fine. You should also air the Haters 100.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, this is perfect. You want to drive up viewership during the off season that all you're doing is just showing old drafts at this point. Like, this is prime original content for NFL Network. Licensed to print money.
Yeah, so you have the top 100. Great, fine. And then like next week or whatever, just have all the players who disagree with literally anybody on the list. It only has to be one, but go through the top 100 with people just hating on where that player is ranked. Like, I would watch way more of that.
Like, here's where having a personality will really shine. Let's just give like a hot mic to Richard Sherman.
Right, and it's not like you're gonna like bruise a ton of egos except for the other players, but like no one at the NFL is gonna be, because it's like, I mean, we didn't put this. The players voted, so you're just really crapping on other players. Oh, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then like 3 years down the line, someone's gonna sign with a team, and he's gonna be on the same team with someone who just like shit talked him for like 10 minutes. Oh my God!
Be like, awkward.
You're like, hey, what do you think about, now you've been, shit talking Odell. He just got traded to the Seahawks or whatever. What do you think, Richard Sherman, or, whatever, right? And they'd be like, well, he's good now. He was bad then, but he's been cool.
Now that he's paid by the same guy I am, I'm legally obligated to think that he's a better player than he used to be. And he works, he probably works even better in our system. Let's just be honest here.
Yeah, right. Honestly, I didn't know what I was talking. It was the system kept him. That's really what the issue was, right? Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Between that and a TV show about like NFL players believing in conspiracies or like trying to sell you on ideas, that would be fantastic.
Well, I mean, that one you could do kind of like a co-show with like NBA TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'd have Kyrie Irving and Will Hayes sit down and tell you about flat Earth and mermaids and dinosaurs not existing. Oh, that'd be perfect.
The dinosaurs existing thing might actually be more than just like that. I have this theory that would end up being more of a thing. Flat Earth is still funny to listen to, but
well, yeah. But yeah, I mean, you could do all that. You could like when Jared Goff found out on Hard Knocks where the sun rose, like you could have like moments like that. Like, oh, I didn't know this like basic fact that you're supposed to like. That's perfect.
The Hater 100 would be perfect for Hard Knocks too. Like, this is just more stuff to feed in. Like, it'll help Hard Knocks. It'll help your like during the lulls of. It'll help during the lulls of NFL broadcasts where you're like, there's nothing more to talk about. Like during like a pre-show thing, you're like, well, earlier this year when we were doing the Hater 100, Odell Beckham Jr. said this about Xavier Rhodes, and just like, you have stuff to cut to.
Yeah. Oh, that's you know what I just realized? Because the NBA does everything right, they're just gonna do this now. They're gonna do an NBA top 30 or whatever, and then they're going to have the Haters top 30, and that's going to be delicious.
Going to end up having to add that to Sling, aren't I?
Yeah.
That's too bad.
And they should sell a separate league pass for just that show.
Just air it on, it's basically pay-per-view at that point, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
That would be sweet. That is what this league needs. Sadly, I think you're right. The NBA is going to find a way to steal this away.
Yeah. Adam Silver... Roger Goodell, my DMs are open. I'll give you my address. You can give me the check. It'll be great.
All right, so that is going to be it for this episode. Again, thank you guys so much for listening. Please remember to tweet that, even if it is a work in progress. and we will see the 116. God damn it.
Hey.
Test. Hey, you're there. Good.
All right. Yeah, I have no idea. Maybe it only sends to one Skype application at a time? I have no idea what's going on. The Skype thing is weird.
Do you have multiple Skypes? Is that... Well, you've had enough installs where I just assume that, like...
Everything goes that's kind of what I'm assuming at this point.
You'd be like, well, I don't actually know, but... Maybe?
I've reformatted my computer, but I'm still sure there's 3 Skypes somewhere.
Is this like when Captain Picard was taken hostage and you have to look up and tell them that there's 3 Skypes? Is that?
It's the revelation scene.
I made that joke in front of Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails once, and he like died laughing. It was one of the oddest experiences of my entire adult life.
And still the best.
One of the best, yeah. Because we were... So we got in for sound check, and like... We're hanging out by the barricade. There's like a group of like 50 of us at the Excel Center back in like 2005. And we're up front, and he's like the band is going around after sound check and like signing stuff for people. And so he's signing my ticket, and he was like at the next person, and he noticed that like they're testing all the lights, and like all the lights are like shining bright on me. I'm like the perfect height to be blinded. So he like walks over and says, are you enjoying our CIA interrogation lights that we got going on for you? And I said something along the lines of, I keep telling you people there's only 3 lights, and just like it's like, all right, I'm signing this, and then I'm not going to talk about Star Trek. It's like, good. That works for me. I didn't come to sign or to talk about sound or to talk about Star Trek. So, yeah, let's start off on the mailbag. And actually, the first one I have here is the first response we had, which was from iStone6 on Twitter, who asks, why did you choose to talk about QB mechanics while you were at a women's clinic?
So
this has to be a good story, right?
It's a huge misconception. So what happens every year is, or here in North Carolina, even around the country, a lot of college football programs, they have what's called a women's clinic, where they teach women that sign up for the certain program the ins and outs of football. So what happens is there's like a gauntlet or a circuit in classrooms where each guy teaches certain positions. And it's just a room full of women that want to learn more and more about football. So I wasn't at an actual women's clinic. It was a football women's clinic, if that makes sense.
You should have edited that out, James. What's the next question?
What was that?
No, it sounds, like a nuanced and fair answer. So we want to just not give him that chance.
Oh, I suppose.
God damn it, Chad Greenway DM'd me. Or not DM'd me, tweeted me.
I do hate when Chad Greenway DMs you. Is it a good tweet?
Well, it's like, someone was like, if you had to compare, Kendricks or Greenway in their prime, who would you take?
Okay, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so I tweeted, I was like, Greenway's pretty good in his prime. That's like the whole point, is that people remember his prime too well. And I was like, so Kendrick's probably not as good as Greenway was. And Greenway's peak was great, so that's not an insult to Kendrick's. Fairly normal stuff that I've said before. Mm-hmm. And then Greenway tweets back just now, did we have a moment? And then a winky face. It's actually hilarious.
Yep, there it is. Aww. Dear God. God damn it, Dylan. Okay, hold on. My EQ's all fucked up.
Damn it, Dylan.
Like, I saw him walk over to my mixing board, and I saw him
just like playing with the sliders.
Yeah, and whatever. But there's no need for me to be like that sweetened on the high end. my mid is way fucked up, and my bass was like super low. It's like, no, I need a little bit of bass. I don't need as much. And God damn it, I need to teach that kid signal flow. This is bullshit. You should see the rest of these faders. It's unreasonable what he has done here. Between James and Arif, who would be the highest priced as the useful human free agent? I like to think that I'm the Bradford of this particular situation, and that I find a way to fleece a place despite my age and despite my numerous injuries and throwing my back out last week. That was fun.
Jesus.
It was great because I threw my back out and then I immediately got food poisoning. So, like, I was just the most miserable human being on the planet for a good, like, week. And I'm still not completely over it. It's just like...
There's like an Adrian Peterson, John Sullivan element to this too, then.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I just kept eating the shrimp. I don't.
it's all of a sudden it's a poo going. You know, I'm not going to do the accent, but poo going. Here, have some shrimp. Sure. What could possibly go wrong? No, I would be comparatively, I would be the Bradford in this situation, and with my skill set, I would find a team somewhere warm and fleece them for all the money they could potentially give me.
I like the idea of being the Drew Brees, A, because that makes me a Hall of Famer, but B, because I took way too much of a discount to stay at home.
You're like, I don't really want to leave. I don't.
Right, yeah.
I've and
a lot of work.
All my stuff is here.
Man, I just, like I said at the beginning of the episode, I just moved the other half of our stuff. So we moved to this place in Uptown like a month ago, and we left the other stuff at the house because we weren't going to be able to renovate it for a month. Now we're about to renovate it so that we can sell it. And so I moved the other half of the stuff, and man, that sucks. I am against moving ever again.
Yeah, moving is the worst. I'm about to re-up my lease simply due to like laziness at this point.
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah. So stay tuned to Norse Code for more insightful commentary. Like, moving sucks and we are lazy.
We're actually going to do a companion podcast to this where we're just going to make fun of the Property Brothers. It's going to be fantastic.
I really feel like they could have played receiver if they weren't Canadian. Both of them are like 6'4".
They are, and I have a job herding butterflies, and he has a job, let's say, screaming at a wall all day. Our budget is $8.2 million. We want it both rustic, new, and with a cat door.
All right, this first house is way out of your price range. You should know that, but you won't.
That is what we need to start doing, is just doing companion podcasts to episodes of the Property Brothers. It'd be great.
It can be like that West Wing podcast that rewatches every episode of the West Wing, except for us, it's the Property Brothers, and somehow we have new content.
This is what we're reduced to in the off season. We're going to have the most amazing April Fool's Day episode. Well, if you've come this far, you must be a true Norse Code fan, so here is the uncut conversation that created the intro to the season opener episode with Mr. Dusty O'Connell. Now, are we sure we're online now?
Yeah, no, we're definitely extremely, very disgustingly online.
The most online one can be.
Obscenely online.
Slaughter in the first round. That's all I fucking have to say.
That took incredible strength of character.
I died. I died inside. if memory serves, his team isn't terrible either. Like, he might win this one despite the fact that he picked Slaughter as his friggin' first pick.
That would be insanely insufferable.
You'd never be able to shut him up.
Yeah, he better die. So what is the what's the plan for this open?
So the plan is that Oh, I am currently expected to pound Public Assistance Pro into the sand in week 2. However, this is also with Kyle Sluter as the quarterback. Just want to point that out. I'm a 75% favorite. So the plan is Dusty is going to come on, but I'm going to start with the opening, which he is going to theoretically interrupt. I imagine there'll be some form of banter afterwards. In which case, and then he'll be off. It would be too much to ask for him to be ready, or have things tested before we actually start.
Yeah, he's just carrying on the tradition of the show, right?
It's almost like we have Justice on the show. The first draft did ask if we were ever going to bring Justice back, or if he's permanently banned for a good reason. I said, you've listened to those shows with Justice. You think we don't have a good reason? It's our least valuable player for a reason. Despite whatever, legitimate beef or whatever exists, it's still funny.
The bong rip stuff was so hilarious. I can't get over how fucking funny that was.
Dusty's going to try via Wi-Fi, via Skype on his phone, since his microphone is acting up. The last act of a BM microphone. Glorious. He wanted a gold-plated microphone, and that was the cheapest one I could find. Fucker. If you want to be like Rush that badly...
Wow.
Have this and get the pain pill addiction afterwards.
That's rude as hell, man.
Well, I got this text, and this is not to make him sound terrible, but I did get this text because we had talked about potentially taping last night. And he was going to go camping last night. I was like, oh, I'll just go camping. We'll tape it tonight. We'll just tape it on Monday night. He goes, all right. He goes, not going to camp tonight. Funny story I can tell you on a cold mic tomorrow. Cliff notes, it's good to be white and keep your mouth shut. So I'm just like, it's history has shown time again that this is accurate in the United States. So talk to you tomorrow then. There was an attempt.
Says 2 in call. Great.
I heard a throat clearing.
Yeah, hey guys.
Was that Dusty? Oh, hey. Is that how you introduce yourself?
Excuse me, sir. Sir.
Garçon.
Exactly.
That's how that goes?
Hey, how the fuck are you, man?
What, after all this time, I didn't think we needed. I mean, you guys didn't make like a fanfare or anything for me. So what?
I mean,
it's the kind of working relationship we sort of still had. It was more like I was able to kind of put my hand right back in the glove kind of thing.
the used condom, as it were. Yeah, it still fits.
Put the condom right back on the eggplant.
Aw, again. That's how you get a disease, man. So, first off, good to hear that you're alive and white. Apparently, it's good to be white, so that's that's important.
Well, what ended up happening was we went up into the mountains to go like tubing, and we were in a park that's like up on the mountains, but still operated by the city of Denver. And technically, you're not allowed to have alcohol in like Denver city parks. And yeah. Well, say you are, but it has to be like 3.2% strength beer. You can't have like full strength wine or liquor or whatever.
Yeah.
That's changing next year, but in the meantime, we say nay to those rules. But 2 of the nosiest park rangers in history were like following us around all day. And one of the guys in our party is not white. He's a brown fella. They like, right, we were getting into the river with our tubes, and they like appeared out of the bushes like they had been like hunting us.
That's
and
like whoever the park ranger and fucking Yogi Bear is, he just pull that shit all the time.
Exactly. It's like he was trying to steal a picnic basket, but they got him with a can of beer. And instead of just being like, oh, I just, picked this up out of the river, it's trash, instead of being like a smart person and like apologizing and giving it to the police, of course he decides he has to like cop an attitude.
Right? Yeah, okay, great.
And so they get into it, and he gets a ticket from the park rangers. And then like we finish our run, we go back up to where we got in. And we're about to get in again, and then we see the same two park rangers, except this time with a member of the Denver police, and they want to talk to Jose some more. And we're just like, oh my God, you got to be fucking kidding me. So Jose didn't learn anything from the first, like literally nothing. So, he gets into it with the officer, who writes him another ticket. At this point, he's like, not in the greatest of spirits, and none of us are exactly sober. So we go down, we ride down one more time, and then we just kind of chill and wait. And, we can't see them, but we're pretty sure that like every park ranger and police officer, like in and near the park, like they probably set up a DUI checkpoint just for us.
Right.
So we're just like, well, we're just going to chill here for a little bit, have some lunch, wait for the heat to die down. And then we're just going to go back to Denver. Fuck this noise. I ain't trying to camp out with a bunch of suspicious, nosy park rangers.
In my head,
Jose
they're all
narrowly
dressed up
going
like
to jail.
Yeah, in my head, they're all dressed up like the Yogi Bear commercial too, or like cartoon too, like with the kerchief and everything.
Yeah.
No kerchief, but everything else. Green,
right? Yeah.
Everything.
Damn.
The
and it was just
without
like,
a shirt. Yeah.
No, actually yes. Actually, yeah.
Actually, yeah. Now that you mention it.
So it's good to be white. It's the lesson to be learned.
All right, I'll keep that under advisement.
Well, it's if it can't be white, then keep your mouth shut.
Wow, that sounds racist as hell, Dusty.
Is what I mean.
You've been back on the show for like all of 3 minutes.
Pretty much. Well, look, I don't get very many bites at the apple anymore. I want to give you lots of one-liners for the Christmas tape. There's a way you can work putting a condom on an eggplant into conversation at some point that'll be relevant to football. Not necessarily tonight, but
relevant to football somehow. Is that the
exactly?
I mean, no, he's got faith in us. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's not like one of those like it's the PC version of you can't unfuck that chicken. You can't just take the condom off that eggplant. You got to throw that eggplant away.
Yeah, right.
I took you like 30 seconds. I believe in you for a reason.
You're a people person. You're good at dealing with people. So the opening.
How can't you see that?
What the hell is wrong with you people? It's a jump to conclusions, Matt. So the opening. The way that it worked in my head was I started doing the opening, and then you interrupt and try to finish it, to which I start to raise a fit, and then Arif starts to go, what the fuck is going on here? Probably not the word fuck in this case, but what the hell is going on here? And then we banter for a couple of minutes.
Works for me.
Sure. Works. I missed all of that because like my IP address reset or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, whatever you said sounds good.
See, I told you it was just like having Justice on.
Do I need to have I probably don't need to like wait for applause or anything. It's not like when a celebrity that's way more famous than the host like shows up on the cold open to Saturday Night Live.
Is that what you think is going on here? Really, white man? Really?
I like the idea that like while someone is like listening in their car or whatever, like your voice comes on and they just scream out of excitement and then they miss like the next like 5 lines.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So should I take like 3 beats and let people finish like laughing and clapping to themselves?
I mean, if you think that's appropriate.
All right, then maybe not.
It's really just a question of like of your self-worth at this point, like how you feel you are. Like, how am I going to be received?
I I don't know. I don't know. I probably wouldn't do that. Is there much ambient noise going on behind me? Is this going to be like acceptable for our purposes?
It should be acceptable, yes. I don't know if you were moving around while you were talking there, but it should be acceptable. The audio quality we're getting out of that will be fine. It's not like we're going to have you for an entire show or something. So, okay. Well, I'll start to give it a shot.
Yeah,
here.
And your connection is like a little breaky uppy, but we'll make it work.
Okay. I will.
We can get at least 5 minutes of digital multimedia content.
It's entirely possible, or we will die trying. Or, we'll just start over. All right, I will start us off if everyone is ready.
Yeah.
Fire the missiles.
All right.
But I'm late tired.
Then go take a nap. And then launch the missiles.
Wow, what an old reference, man.
All right. Attempting to start this ship in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Norse Code, the #1 podcast for your Minnesota Vikings. I am your host and producer. My name is James Fagashnik. Thank you so much for listening.
Wait, no. Welcome to Norse Code.
Wait,
welcome to Norse Code.
What the hell?
What is
podcast
this?
for your Minnesota Vikings.
Oh my God.
I'm your host.
We've been
I'm
hacked.
your host. I'm your host. Dusty O'Connor.
This is fake news. This is BS.
Fake news? Oh my God. Why did it even bother to come back?
You're fake news, man.
This is exactly why I left. These spurious accusations.
Is that it? You 38-7 yourself out of here.
You acrimonious. But I'm going with you for 10 seconds.
Well, we tried and failed. The lesson here, of course, is Dusty failed.
Never tried.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
Efforts to get rid of me have met with limited success.
Is that what we're calling this?
Limited success. I think you have your episode.
I would say successfully aborted failure.
Ooh. Didn't you dance under that name in college, Dusty?
No, that's what it says on my nameplate on my desk.
Oh. Actually, I would totally believe that at the restaurant. Yeah. Well, we wanted to say hi, Dusty. How you doing?
I am well. I got to tell you, I miss doing the show with you guys, but eventually life intervenes and you can no longer live in the lap of luxury that being a volunteer podcaster affords you.
Is that what we're living in?
Hey, Dusty's breaking the illusion. Dusty's breaking the illusion.
Well, I mean, that's what I assumed.
If you keep saying things like that, we're not gonna get people over to patreon.com/norsecode.
That's true. And can they still make a one-time donation in any amount they like at paypal.me/norsecode?
They absolutely
Indeed they
can. Absolutely. Do you have any parting shots to tell the audience before we leave? Everyone's been curious as to what you've been up to, where you've been, if you are a professional black market public assistance player. You want to tell people what you got going on in your life before we go?
I don't even know what that would be. I don't know. Nobody plays public assistance. You just have the sealed copy of the board game and watch it increase in value as the nation is gripped more firmly by the neck by racism.
I mean, we talked about putting our Patreon money towards a copy of it, and then live streaming Arif and I playing it.
Oh well, if you do that, I gotta be there for that.
You'd fly in for that one.
So now you get to pick and choose which Norse Code episodes you'll be on. That's how it is.
Is that going to be? I thought you guys going to be like Twitch stars or something. I mean, I assumed that since Arif has gone on to bigger, and I just figured James would reach out into the world of like video game live streaming or something. I don't know. I guess I thought you guys were like media bigwigs.
Well, our live streaming is kind of what we've been doing. I mean, we did have the April Fool's Day episode where we did commentary for an episode of Property Brothers. So there's that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was a well-received episode.
But
we got less death threats for that one than we did the New Orleans episode. So.
Wow, that's I can't say I'm terribly surprised by that. No, I've just been on that grind. They let me operate a restaurant here in Denver for some reason. That may have been a poor decision on ownership's part, but it's going really well. We've gotten a bunch of local awards for our delicious Japanese food and Japanese alcohol selection, which I personally curate. So I gotta. It's not as good as being like the host of the like 5th most listened to Minnesota Vikings podcast, but it's good to be part of a successful.
Yeah.
We're splitting it, but I mean, really, it's closer to 4th, Dusty.
Yeah. Libsyn numbers.
I mean, we've made
damned.
progress since you've left.
I imagine. Still double 10 listeners is still 20. Like
this was addition by subtraction. God damn it. I tend to believe that. I did have one hot take that I wanted to share before I let you guys get to the meat and potatoes of the episode, and that
House loader.
No, yeah, the Vikings waive Kyle Sloter and then pick up Paxton Lynch at some point in the offseason. No, that's not it. No, and this is going to get me in hot water, which I'm going to let you. So tweet all your angry replies to at Norse Code DN.
Mm-hmm.
But mark my words, by week 9, Dalvin Cook down with a re-injured knee.
Wow, you are an awful human being.
So his Twitter account again is at Dusty O'Connell. Now it may say something about being a Tide Pod like gastropod guy, but really, this is
gastronome.
Yes, this is Dusty's account.
Yes. Look for the Tide Gnome, and you'll have found the right Twitter account.
Not with that word
G and the gnome, right? So it's a gnome. Yeah.
His most recent tweets were
there's no G in gastronome. Well, there's other than
right. It goes G and then NOME. Yeah, it's fine. You're fine. You're fine.
His last couple tweets were all spammed due to a hacked account. But I mean, like, other than that, this is Dusty's account. So please feel free to tweet him all of the angry messages you can possibly tweet.
Feel free to ignore
if
them.
you feel compelled to send email, we'll forward it. Don't worry about it.
Don't do that. No.
I have his personal phone number. I can make this happen. Like,
as a reminder, Dusty said that Dalvin Cook would get injured by week 9, just in case you needed to be reminded of why you're angry.
Yes.
You can email.
I was more specific. Injured knee, which will probably be season ending. So put that in your collective horns and blow it.
Thanks, Dusty, for reminding us why we are the number 1 podcast for your Minnesota Vikings now that Dusty is no longer on the show.
Dusty helped build this podcast. Hooray.
I know. How did that happen? That was dumb.
This whole venture was his idea. So if you're angry, it's definitely, at Dusty. Is it Dusty O'Connell? Not like Dusty C. Is it Dusty O'Connell, right?
Correct. It's just my name. I'm probably not going to look, but I'll just imagine.
And again, we'll forward all emails.
I'm already imagining the rending of garments and gnashing of teeth.
If PayPal donations toward the show could go toward my PayPal donations toward the show will go toward my airfare to fly over to Denver to slap Dusty in October. So let's just, you know.
You're already coming.
That is 100%. That's 100% true. And you should act accordingly.
just specify in the note that you want this money to be used toward the slapping of Dusty, and I will make this happen.
There's a Kickstarter for an automated slapping machine that like operates by Wi-Fi. Maybe you can put the money towards buying one of those, and then people can queue up some slaps. I'll live stream them. No, I won't. We could, when I am proven right, you know, we could always have me on for another brief victory lap as I hijack the #1 podcast for your Minnesota Vikings briefly. But beyond that, I just wanted to wish you guys well and freak everybody out for a moment and say thank you to everybody who continues to listen to a fun little podcast made by, well, I guess now two, well, maybe one funny and insightful person.
Arif and I will later argue as to which one you were talking about.
Why can't it be both?
I'm surprised. Well, because you said one. That's kind of how math works.
What if one of you was funny and the other one's insightful?
It wouldn't be Dusty on the show if he didn't have like a number of the week that was wrong.
The number of the week is 3, which is the number of hosts that Norse Code currently has. I'm being told by a producer that my information may be incorrect.
Well, thanks so much for coming on, Dusty.
For a correction never coming.
You bet.
Thanks, man.
Take it easy, guys.
All right, and we are clear.
that went well.
Yeah. That's like the appropriate kind of clusterfuck. I'm glad.
Yeah. It's a minimal amount of editing.
Exactly. It really, I feel like it really encapsulates the spirit of the 3-man pod.
We got the killer. We're good. All right. We should be good with that then. That was far more entertaining than it had any right to be.
Yeah, well, you're welcome.
Yeah, pieces of shit.
Yeah, jerk.
Yeah, muff cabbage.
Wait, no, I'm the one that begged to come back. That's right.
Oh, okay.
Remember now.
That is going to be it. So, for Arif and for Mr. Dusty O'Connell, my name is James. Thank you guys so much for listening, and please remember to tweet that, even if it is a work in progress. And hope you had a great holiday season. Norse Code is the largest and only division of Norse Code LLC. You can find Norse Code on the Daily Norseman, SB Nation's Vikings blog at dailynorseman.com. You can also find it on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever fine podcasts are aggregated. Our Vikings blogger extraordinaire and generally useful human is Arif Hassan, and he can be found on Twitter at Arif Hassan NFL. I am your producer and co-host, and my name is James Pagashnik. You can find me at the show's official Twitter feed at NorseCodeDN. If you'd like to donate a few bucks to the show, you can make your one-time donation at paypal.me/NorseCode, or a recurring monthly contribution can be made by visiting patreon.com/NorseCode. Any questions or comments that won't fit in a tweet can also be sent to norsecodepodcast@gmail.com. On behalf of the Norse Code staff, we thank you so much for listening.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.